What's the number one fatal flaw that you see early stage businesses make? I mean, if you see over and over and over again that they fail to do that could have been avoidable.
There are some relatively inexpensive ways to protect ideas that can be leveraged that a lot of startup individuals and companies either aren't aware of, or they've heard some of these myths about them and they're afraid to look into them. I think not getting just a little teeny bit of advice early on before you do something like publicly disclose your inventions and erode their value is probably the number one mistake. I mean, I know that sometimes lawyers seem unapproachable, but just getting 15 minutes of a quick and dirty advice on where you are with your business and what you should be thinking about, I think is a good idea for most everybody.
Do you think they're unapproachable because people are worried about them charging in 6-minute increments, things like that? Like, is it just like the history of hearing all these like terrible stories about how, when you sue someone, the lawyers are the ones who get rich, no one else in between? Like, I mean, the other story I was telling you about, you said it was never true. It was an old wives' tale, and so like, I mean, is it the same thing? Like, these things actually aren't that bad. You're hearing bad information from bad people, and you haven't fact checked it yourself. Like,
I think that's a complicated question. It sounds simple, but I think there are a lot of reasons why attorneys in general and intellectual property attorneys, perhaps especially, are considered to be a little bit unapproachable. One reason, I think, is what you mentioned, that people are afraid of being charged money right out of the gate. And that's just, a function of the fact that lawyers historically charged by the hour, and people felt like when you would give them a ring that the meter would start running and they could expect a bill to show up the next day. And so I think it's in part incumbent upon myself and others who are in the community to sort of say, hey, look, there are other avenues for acquiring this information that are a little bit more approachable. I think another answer to that question is that lawyers are in the information business in large part. We're also in the experience business, being able to apply that information using our experiences to generate hopefully what's a good result in a business context. But when the internet came online, the mode of knowledge that we had the luxury of in the 80s and 90s, which we used to call something that I referred to fondly as a law library, went away. Anyone can do simple, basic legal research into intellectual property. And I think what that has done is to make some intellectual property lawyers try to make intellectual property a little bit more mysterious, because the mystique was taken away in part.